Welcome back. I'm sure you're all excited to learn Java. And let's get started with installing Java on our local machine. We have three different steps: step 1, step 2, step 3. Installing Java on Windows, macOS, and Linux. Based on your operating system, you can choose the appropriate step. So following this video, you have three different steps: 01, 02, 03. If you're on Windows, I would recommend you to choose 01. If you're on macOS, you can choose 02. And if you're on Linux, you can choose 03. You can follow the instructions on that specific video and install Java on your specific operating system. If you have any problems installing Java, then we also have a troubleshooting video for you, which is step 4, troubleshooting. What I would recommend you to do is to take this step for your specific operating system, go ahead, install Java, and I'll see you in the next step. Welcome back. Let's get started with installing Java on Windows. Installing Java should be a cakewalk. All that you need to do is to go to Google. I would recommend to use Firefox or Chrome and type in Java JDK download. If you type in Java JDK download, you should land up on this page, Java SC downloads. You can click the link over here and this would take you to the Java SC downloads. Current latest version, as I'm recording right now, is Java 16, or if you see Java 17 or Java 18, you can use them as well. Once you are over here, what I would do is go to download, JDK download. So I'll click this link, JDK download. Over here, you can read the license update and make sure that you are okay with it before you continue and download the JDK for your specific operating system. Right now, we are looking at Windows, and for Windows, we have the 64-bit option in here. This is the JDK 16 Windows x64 bin.exe. I'll click that and this would open up a small pop-up where I can check this checkbox and say download the JDK. So this would download the JDK down to your downloads folder. I'll go to Windows Explorer and I'll go to downloads, and you have the downloads and you have the JDK file in here. What I would need to do now is to double click this. The launch of JDK would take a little while, and after that you would see a message like this. I would say I would want to allow this app to make changes. I'll say yes. This kicks off the installation wizard. I'll say next in here. You can choose the directory where you would want to install JDK to. What I would do is to note down this path. So you can see that it's being installed to C:/program file/java/JDK16. So you can do a change. I would actually select this, do a right click, or do a Control A, Control C to copy it, and I'll open up Notepad. I'll open up Notepad and I'll paste the folder path in here. So we are installing to C:/program file/java/JDK16. This is very, very important to remember. I'll minimize this, and over here I'll do a cancel and go back to the earlier folder. So we would be installing to C:/program file/java/JDK16, and I would say next. The installation would take a minute or two. You can see that there are a lot of steps that are being done, and at the end of it, it says, you can see that the message says the installation of the Java SC development kit 16 is successful. Now we have successfully installed Java on our local machine. Now there is one more step before we will be able to use it from the command prompt. That is to set the path variable. How do we set the path variable? What I would do in here is to say search Windows, and I would type in environment variables. And when you type in environment variables, you should see something called edit the system environment variables. So make sure that you choose the edit the system environment variables in here. It would take a little while to come up, I guess. I minimized all the windows and then I was able to see this particular thing. Over here, you can actually minimize all the things, and this is the only thing that you should see in here. And over here, you can say environment variables. What you're seeing in here right now are the environment variables. What I would want to do is I would want to set the path in the system variables. So go to system variables. So inside the system variables, go to path, and you can say edit here. So make sure that you're choosing path, P-A-T-H, which is present in here. The name of the variable is path, and I want to edit it. So I would select that and say edit. And you should see a set of values like this come up. What we would want to do is we would want to create a new value in here. And what should the value be? What you can do is to go to Windows Explorer. So you can go to Windows Explorer, and over here I can type in C:/ in here. This would take me to the local disk C:, and over here I'm looking for program files, and inside program files we have Java. Inside program files, depending on the version you have installed, there would be a folder in here. I have installed JDK 16, so I see a JDK 16 folder. So I'll go inside JDK 16 folder, and inside that you can see a number of folders. The important folder for us is bin. Now I can go in and copy this C:/program file/java/jdk16/bin. And what we want to do is to take this and copy it out to the system properties. So let's select system properties, and over here I want to create a new entry, and the new entry value should be this C:/program file/java/jdk16bin. One thing I would recommend you to do is to do a move up. So move up, move up, move up, move up, move up, move up, so that it's the first one at the top. Once you have it at the top, you can say OK, and you can say OK in here, and you can close this and close the folders. And what I would recommend you to do is to close the command prompt. If you have a command prompt open, close it, and then again search Windows for command prompt. So you can say command prompt, and you can go in here and say Java-version. This should show the current Java version which is being used. You can see that Java version 16. So we are making use of Java version 16. You can also type in jshell, JSHELL -version. So jshell -version, and you should see jshell 16 also present in here. So if you see both of these, congratulations. You are all set with your Java installation, and you are ready to get started with the problem solving sections of this course. If you had any problems with installing Java, what I would recommend you to do is to check out the installation instructions. If you do a Java JDK download search on Google, this is the page we landed on earlier. And over here we have installation instructions. If you go into installation instructions, over here, there are different set of installation instructions for different operating systems. And we followed the instructions for Windows. So we have installed it in Windows, so Microsoft Windows, that's the one which we have followed. Over here, if you do a little bit of scroll down, you can see JDK installation troubleshooting. So you can go to JDK installation troubleshooting, and there are a set of instructions that they have in here. You might want to check them out. I'll see you in the next step. Welcome back. Let's see how to install Java on macOS right now. All that you need to do is to search for Java JDK download, go to Java SE downloads, and over here you can see all the latest Java version downloads. The latest version as I'm recording right now is Java SE 16. Even if you see Java 17 or Java 18, you can go ahead and use them. What I would recommend you to do is to go ahead and click JDK download. Once you click JDK download, you would see the license update. I would recommend you to read that, and then you can choose the installer for your specific operating system. I'm on Mac, so I would go ahead and say x64 bin.dmg. This is the one which I would want to download. So let's click that, and on the pop-up, I would say review and accept, and I would download the DMG file. So you can see that it's about 167 MB of download. So it would take a little while for the whole thing to download, about a minute, I would guess. I'm using Chrome browser to do this download. Chrome or Safari or Firefox, any of them should be fine. Cool. The download took about a minute, and the download is now complete. So let's launch it up. So I'm clicking it in here. If you want, you can go to downloads and launch it up from there as well. And now we have the JDK 16 package file. I'll double click on that, and this would start the installation process. So let's click continue. I'd say install, and it would ask for your admin user ID password. Let's go ahead and enter that. And right now it's doing all that is needed to install Java, and you can see that install is now successful, and it says install succeeded, and I can go ahead and say now close. It's asking if I would want to move the JDK 16 installer to the trash. I would say move to trash, and that's all is needed to install Java. Let's see if the installation was successful. I will launch up terminal. So let's launch up terminal, and over here I'd want to type in Java-version. You can see that I see Java version 16 2021-03-16 in here. That's cool. If you type in jshell -version, you should see something similar in here, jshell 16. That's cool as well. If you had any problems with Java -version or jshell -version, what I would recommend you to do is to go back to searching for Java JDK downloads and go into this page. On this page, you have installation instructions. And in the installation instructions, you should find the instructions for Mac operating system. So installation of JDK on Mac OS. Sometimes it's possible that you are seeing an older version of Java in here. In that kind of situation, you would need to set the newer version as the current version. The way you can do that is if you scroll down on this documentation, you'd see the command in here. So this is the command to make Java 16 the current version. So you'd need to do a export Java home is equal to and set the version to 16. The exact command is present in the installation instructions in here. In this step, we install Java on macOS. I'll see you in the next step. Welcome back. In this step, let's look at how you can install Java JDK on Linux operating system. You can do a Google for Java JDK download and you'd land up on this particular page, Java SC downloads. Let's go in there. The download package is available at JDK download. So I'll right click, open this in new tab. And the instructions for installation are present in installation instructions. I'll do a right click and open in new tab over here as well. On the first tab, on the Java SC development kit 16 downloads page, you can scroll down and this is where you can see all the download packages. You can see that there are 5 different download packages for Linux. If you are using Debian, then you'd go for this specific package. Otherwise, you have the option of choosing between RPM and the tar.gz files. If you go over to the JDK installation guide, which we opened in the new tab from here, so we opened this up in new tab. This is where this has opened up. If you go to installation of JDK on Linux platforms, over here you can find all the instructions for installing JDK on Linux platforms. If you scroll down, you would see that you have 2 options from archive files or RPM packages. RPM is nothing but Red Hat Package Manager packages. If you are installing from .tar.gz, you would have a private version of JDK for the current user only. This will not impact other JDK installations. And these archive bundles are available for Linux x64 and Linux ARC64 systems. However, if you want to do a system-wide installation of JDK for all users, you can go with RPM packages. However, if you go with RPM packages, you need to have root access. If you scroll down, you can see the instructions for tar.gz files. All that you need to do is to download the tar.gz file from over here. And after that, you need to do a unpack on the tarball. If you want to do RPM based installation, then you can download the RPM file and then you can actually install the required package using the rpm-ivh and the file command. You can find all the details in here. One of the important things about using RPM is that you need root access. Once you have JDK installed in this specific folder, you can cd into that specific folder and you can run Java-version. You should see the latest version of Java in there. You can also type in jshell-version. You can also see the specific JShell version which is installed in here. In this step, we looked at installation instructions for installing JDK on Linux-based platforms. I'm sure you're having an interesting time and I'll see you in the next step. Welcome back. In this step, let's troubleshoot Java installation. If you had any problems with your Java installations, what you can do is you can do a search for Java JDK download and go to Java SC downloads. This is where we downloaded JDK from earlier. Over here, you have installation instructions. If you go to installation instructions, based on your operating system, you can choose the right link and look at the documentation to see if there is something which you might have done wrong. Let's take Windows as example. So installation of JDK on Microsoft Windows platforms. I can see the JDK installation instructions for Windows. I recommend you to actually look at these instructions, especially the one for setting the path environment variable. If you click setting the path environment variable, if I go in here and copy this, and if I go to Windows Explorer and paste that in, you'd see that this should take me to a folder. So this is the folder where Java is present. So you can see that all the executable files are present in here. If this is not taking you to a specific folder, then you might have chosen to install JDK on a different folder. What I would recommend you to do is to reinstall JDK and try and pick up the same folder, try and use the default folder so that your JDK would be installed to this specific folder. If you see that this folder is fine and you are able to see all the files which are present in here, including Java and Java-C, then what I would recommend you to do now is to check the path configuration. So the details are also present in here. So if you go in here, it says control panel, system, advanced environment variables. So you can type in. The easier way to get there directly is by just typing in environment variables. And what we are looking for is system environment variables. If you go in there and minimize everything which is present in here, you should see environment variables. So let's pick up environment variables in here. And over here, inside the system variables is where we should have path. And inside this, if you do an edit, you can see that this is where we added in the path earlier. If you are having a problem, then what you can also do is to delete this and you can create a new entry, paste the bin folder in again, and you can move up this. So you can move this up and then you can open up. Now I will say OK, OK over here and OK over here as well. And now you can try and launch up command prompt and try and see if your Java-version and JShell-version are working fine. So if I open up command prompt and type in JShell-version, JShell 16, and similarly if I type in Java-version, I can see Java version 16. If you have installed Java 17 or 18, you should see that specific version in here. In this step, we looked at how you can troubleshoot your Java installation. I'm sure you're having a wonderful time and I'll see you in the next step.